Brock Boeser netting the Canucks' first hat trick in LA since Cliff Ronning in 1993, and just more ridiculousness from Connor and Leon that has them as two of the top three scorers in the league. Here to help us break down that, as well as the two games in the show tonight, and whatever the hell is happening with Dustin Byfuglien in Winnipeg, is our friend Brian Burke. Berkey joins us for some hockey talk, brought to you by Boston Pizza. Join us every Saturday for Hockey Night in Canada at Boston Pizza. Berkey, what'd you think of the basketball fight that we saw?
Just like the Broad Street Bullies.
It did not resemble the Broad Street Bullies at all.
Right.
I signed with the Flyers in 1977. I came in on the tail end of the Broad Street Bullies, and training camp was really intimidating.
Give us a story. How intimidating? Like what?
Well, I remember one of my first shifts, so we had rookie camp in Maine, and one of my first shifts at the big camp, I was out, and it was Bobby Clark and Bob Kelly. The Hound was left wing. Yeah. So the puck came to the half wall, and I thought, all right, I'm going to knock Clark over, right, pick up the puck and throw it out, and then turn and fight the hammer. Only Bobby Clark was a lot stronger than I thought he was.
Right.
And I rolled off him and fell down. And I thought, well, I better go to Plan B.
So did you fight?
No, I fought in rookie camp. I didn't fight in main camp.
Yeah, no.
What was Plan B?
Well, Plan B was pretend it didn't happen. It's like when you trip. And
hustle hard.
Yeah, you're in an office building in the lobby, and you trip, and you just go like this and pretend nothing happened.
And you look around to see who saw it.
It's a funny thing. Tim was like, we were picking out some Broad Street bully clips earlier today, if I could spit it out.
Yeah.
And McAuliffe and I are watching on YouTube, and Berkey, I'm looking at him like, if anything like this happened today,
people would lose their mind.
It would lead newscasts. It would be all over the place. It's just amazing to watch how it used to be done.
Well, you know who started it all? The older guys will tell you that even though it was the Broad Street Bullies got the reputation, the team that started all this was St. Louis. And that's when Mr. Snyder, who owned the Flyers, they played St. Louis in the playoffs, and they felt they were beat up. And he said that will never happen again. And that was the birth of the Broad Street Bullies. But most of the guys from that era will tell you that brand of hockey started with the St. Louis Blues.
Right.
But you're right. And guys like me that are pro fighting guys, we don't want to go back to that. We don't want to go back to bench clearing brawls and 3-hour games. We just bemoan the lack of a good fight in the game. It was a good one last night. Furlan and Clifford had a good fight.
Yeah, they dropped the
Even
gloves.
there, the linesman tried to get in before any damage could possibly be done. So.
I'm sure you enjoyed that.
I was yelling at the TV set. Get out of there! Get out of there!
Get out of there! Right.
Edmonton Oilers last night. I mean, the good is the big guys continue to look like the big guys, and two of the, obviously McDavid's the best player in the world in my opinion, but Draisaitl, I don't know where you would rank Draisaitl right now in terms of best players in the world. Like,
he's up there.
He's up there. Do you look at the Edmonton result last night, Berkey, as, okay, they got back on track, Mike Smith had a great game, moved the puck really well, or do you still look at Edmonton and go, they need other guys? Like, how do you look at a game like that?
Well, they got secondary scoring last night. They got one goal, and they got a power play goal. The power play had been just so-so. So they got one goal they needed from the bottom six. The issue is, if you're Buffalo, relying on two guys, if you're Edmonton, relying on three now, because you have to include James Neal, but if you're relying on one group, you run the risk of three things. One is you run the risk that someone goes cold, because that's going to happen. These guys all have 6 shooting percentages. That won't maintain.
I love James Neal. I don't see another 11-goal month coming for James Neal.
But that's right. So that's number one. They go cold. Number two, you run the risk of checking schemes and forwards shutting you down, where teams say, now, okay, we're past the 10-game mark. We're playing Edmonton. We're going to ignore the rest of their team and shut them down. And with the last change at home, that can be done. It's not easy with those two, but it can be done. And third, you run the risk of injury. Either one of those guys gets banged up. What are they going to do? What's the game plan then? What's plan B there? Yeah. And plan B is you go to church, you sit in the front pew, you light 7 candles, and you say a rosary. That's plan B.
Right. The Colorado Avalanche, though, made a pretty good run with one line and some decent defensemen.
Yeah, they did. But that was, again, now with Rantanen hurt, they're still playing well. They've got more depth than you think.
They got more depth this year, yes.
Yeah. So,
but last year, they made a decent run.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they did. And it's not saying these guys can't either.
Right.
But those are the 3 risks.
Right.
So, going forward, Edmonton, like, who's the secondary guy that you think can step up? Like,
do they have that guy?
Yeah, do they have that guy, or does Ken Holland have to get creative here?
No, they're gonna do it by committee and end up with all of those guys in the bottom 6 will end up with 2 goals. I don't think they're gonna get 10 goals out of anyone. I don't see it. Hope I'm wrong.
But you don't see it. The
Well,
Vancouver.
Cassian he was double digits last year. I think he could, but other than that,
Yeah, outside of that, and he plays in the power play and he gets time in all those different spots. I don't know if he's doing much 5-on-5. The Vancouver Canucks improved to 8-3-1 on the season. We had a conversation in here a couple days ago. Who's the best team in Canada right now? Is it the Vancouver Canucks?
I based on the last 5 games, yes.
Yeah.
And I think much like Edmonton, I think Edmonton can maintain this. I really do. I think they're for real. I think the goaltenders are both for real. I think these two guys are cosmic right now.
Yeah.
And James Neal's not far behind him. So let's say he tails off and ends up with 30 instead of 70.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
That's still okay, I think.
That's the argument we were having in here.
I think they're legit, and I think Vancouver's legit. I do radio shows into both of those markets, so I follow those teams pretty closely. I think Vancouver can continue to do this. I think the changes they made on their D, their goaltender has been fantastic, and I don't see why that can't continue. The Hughes kid is amazing.
Yeah.
Has transformed their power play.
And he's got vets all around him now to
and now
learn from.
Boeser's waking up. He got 3 last night, and Petey's waking up. And so I think, even though, again, same asterisk with them, you're relying on a small group of guys to do it, and that's risky, but it can be done, and I can see them continuing this.
Yeah.
There's
I really like all the pieces. They just seem to, and a lot of those pieces have been hurt in the past, and that's why folks in the lower mainland are a little worried because hot starts and the Canucks have been synonymous for the last couple of years, and then they get injuries and it all falls away. But if these guys stay healthy, they got a little bit of everything.
And Jim Benning upgraded the defense in a large way. You bring in Hughes last year. He's great, young player. He's playing great right now. But they brought in Tyler Myers. They lost some guys. They brought in replacements. They didn't just sit by and watch it and say, "Oh, okay, what do we do?" So I really think they can do this. I think they can maintain it. And if you're a team that made the playoffs from the West last year, you got a couple of upstart teams.
Yeah.
And you got the Central Division, which is a nightmare.
Yeah.
So these other teams like Calgary better get going here.
We were talking about the Central Division in our morning meeting, saying like, if you're Winnipeg and you look up the standings and you see the teams that are ahead of you, like, do you have a shot? Like, you better play really good hockey or have Hellebuck be the best goalie on planet Earth.
Yeah, and right now he's not. He's a good goalie, but he's not the best on planet Earth. Right now, Vancouver's goalie might be the best in the league. There's a couple playing great, but he's been unconscious since the start of the year. Him and Anaheim, I would say, the Gibson kid, he's been unconscious. But right now, they're getting goaltending they never counted on. They thought that they'd be okay. The Markstrom would be okay, but they never thought he'd play like this. He's lights out.
Even Demko's been really good.
And Demko's been good. And what it does for your team, when you trust your goalie, you take way more chances offensively. It makes you a much more dangerous team. Because you're like, okay, I can give up the puck at the blue line. He's going to stop it. So you gamble a little bit more. Changes your whole mindset.
If you're Kevin Shoveldayoff, what do you do with Dustin Byfuglien right now?
Well, I don't know the facts of the story. The surgery
I don't think anyone
thing,
does.
Yeah, the surgery thing threw a wrinkle into everything, because if that's player related, if that's career related, then this notion that he's suspended and doesn't have to get paid, that's out the window. There'll be a grievance over that.
Right.
They'll be like, no, he's not playing because he's got an injury and he had surgery. That's going to be a grievance. And I don't know any of the facts, so I can't, nor would I expect Winnipeg to tell me the facts.
Right. But wouldn't Byfuglien know that going into the surgery, that he would be able to or eligible to be paid if he had a... So some of it is on him too, right? Because I feel like a lot of people are pointing to the Winnipeg Jets and what will happen with the Winnipeg Jets, but if Byfuglien knows all of this stuff and has the surgery, and I would assume that he would know it, Byfuglien seems like a guy who does whatever the hell he wants to me.
Yeah, and you know what? Because I've had Dustin Byfuglien for Team USA, and he's a good kid. Not a good kid. He's a great kid.
Right.
But I don't know any of the facts here.
Right.
And so to me, what ignorance leads to normally is speculation. Well, this might have happened.
Right.
And either way this went down, it's going to look bad on the club or the player. It's going to be that the player took advantage of the situation or the club didn't react properly. So I'm going to wait till I know the facts.
Right.
If you're a fan, though, because for most of this, the Jets have really respected Dustin's privacy. They've had to. But if you're a fan and this season is going in this direction potentially, do Do you not want more communication on what exactly is going on here?
Yes.
Are they not owed a little more? I know sometimes it's a romantic view of the relationship between the fan and the organization, but if I'm a Jets fan at this point, I'm now saying to myself, guys, I need more. Kevin, I need you to tell me what's going on here. This is an important guy. Are they entitled to that?
Yes, I think they are. And I don't think they are all the time. I hear people say fans are entitled. I'm a season ticket holder with the Leafs. I don't think they owe me explanations on everything. This thing, I think they do. It happened so late in the summer, and now you hear surgery in third week of October,
Yeah.
I guess it is, third or fourth week of October. Well, why wouldn't they do that surgery if he reported the camp and the injury and said, why would they do it that late? Like, if you're trying to get him back, you do it the day the doctor says he can do it. So,
and you could put him on LTIR.
yes, so there's a lot of question marks. I think fans are entitled to an answer, and I'm sure we'll get them. The guys in Winnipeg are as good a guys as you could ever work with. The owner, Mark Chipman's wonderful. Chevy's unbelievable. It'll all come out, but I don't expect them to tell me now.
Right.
Interesting situation. Berkey, quickly, what are you for Halloween tonight?
Oh, I don't dress up for Halloween.
You, me, and
I'm just-
Sixero. We dress up as
Right.
mediocre sports broadcasters.
One day, 100 years from now, they're going to be like, we should have been like those three. Everyone's missing the boat.
Yeah.
Thanks, Berkey.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.